go.
Oh, right. How's it going, everybody? Miami crew, how you doing? Is there an echo with this setup here? Can't hear you at the moment, Miami gang, but we're standing by. I think that's good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Their setup is way more high tech than ours, guys. So something to aspire to.
Ours works, though. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, they always talk about Milwaukee. Guys, here, Amazon's going to take a Bitcoin? Really? No, I did that.
I always keep
eBay's considering it. Seriously, though, eBay is considering it. But they've been considering it. Oh, what does that mean?
Oh, eBay's going to sell Bitcoin.
Yeah. They're going to sell it?
Allow the sale of
Anything?
Yeah, we can hear that.
I'm going to take the door.
We heard you there for a second.
Just make sure their speakers are on.
Go. We can hear you guys a little bit there.
Which one are we? Well, I don't know where we're going here. This? Can you hear us now?
Yeah, we can hear you guys.
Okay. Okay, so turn up. You might have to turn up your speakers a bit. And we're gonna see what we can do here.
Okay. I wanna try a little sound test here. I'm gonna talk through a microphone public address here at our place and see if there's any problems hearing us on your end.
Okay. And then we're going to try a different mic. So right now we're on the laptop mic, but it isn't that good. It's too close to the speakers. But we'll try something else.
Test for the Miami crew. How does that sound? Can you hear it?
We don't want their sound. So that we don't want to do. You want to do? Well, we don't want the huge stuff.
page 6.
Okay, can you guys hear us now?
Yes. Yeah, we hear you loud and clear over here.
Just like, okay. Okay.
How's the sound coming in on your end from us?
It sounds fine. It sounds just fine. Let's get the video. Can we expand this? We don't need the lower.
How about now?
Yeah.
Everybody hear this okay?
Yeah, everybody's got now not so much, but when I was a kid, every guy had going through their list of
Oh, nice. They're like, yeah, we need to do some research on this shit. If they want to report accurately.
No, you know what? It's funny, they just did it because
All right. We'll get some news.
Yeah,
for the street. Such a bad
It doesn't hurt.
Must be just Bitcoin.
What did I say? One of my friends. No, you mean it must be just 42 coins.
Yeah,
42 coins.
that shit's 42 coin.
Yo,
Shit.
that shit is one coin.
Yeah, exactly.
You know one is coming.
All right,
Right?
is it really?
Yeah. It's just the entire account is gonna be one coin. That's the only. That's it. It's I told you like almost.
Do we hear you?
Like,
You guys talk here like we do. Can you guys keep it down for a second?
Too much of a headache.
Can you guys hear us?
I considered.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Is everybody ready over there?
Yeah, we're ready. We hear you good.
Cool.
Doesn't matter. I don't want to do it. I don't want to.
We can hear a lot of background chatter.
Yeah, because we got too many people talking here. Guys, can we keep it down, please? Guys?
During
Hey guys, if you want to talk, do it elsewhere.
Hey, take it easy. How's that now, guys?
Yeah, that's a lot better. Cool. There's a little bit of echo of my voice coming through.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to do much of that because we have a microphone about 5 feet away from the TV, so and we all have to hear, so we can't put on headsets.
No problem. We'll work with it. Thanks so much, everybody out there in Miami, for joining us. And I know we have a good showing tonight with our membership here in Milwaukee, and we're eager to find out who's all there in Miami that we're talking to. So Anthony, go ahead and first introduce yourself with a brief bio, and then if everyone else could take a turn. And then we have a couple questions for you. We want to know about what's going on with the conference and the projects you guys are working on.
Cool. Vital, get in here. Come on, move in the camera.
Well, I guess I'll start. Will, you know me pretty well. I'm Charles Hoskinson. I'm the director of the Bitcoin Education Project. Can you guys see me? Can you guys see me?
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Will. Hey, so director of the Bitcoin Education Project. I helped start Invictus Innovations, and now I'm a core developer here on the Ethereum project.
All right, I'm Anthony Iorio. I'm the founder and executive director of the Bitcoin Alliance of Canada. I am the founder with my partner Steve of KryptoKit, a Chrome extension Chrome extension instant wallet system and secure messaging system. I opened up Bitcoin Decentral a couple weeks ago, which is a 5,500 square foot building in downtown Toronto. That's a co-working space, incubator space, accelerator space, and space for the Toronto Bitcoin Meetup, which is a 500-member weekly meetup group that meets every Wednesday. And I'm also what do we consider? Fiduciary founder of the Ethereum project. And involved here with Kyle on a program called Coin Talk.
Yeah, so my name is Kyle. I'm the host of a show called Coin Talk that I do with Anthony out of Toronto, out of Bitcoin Decentral. And essentially I'm here. I just put together an Ethereum video, the first official video, so that'll be trickling out to you guys very soon. And yeah.
We've got Jonathan.
Hey guys, I think I met you before.
Go ahead.
Pretty sure. Hi.
Hey, Jonathan.
What if there's someone that doesn't know who you are?
Oh, hi. My name is
what kind of-
Jonathan Mohan.
And
I do Bitcoin NYC in conjunction with Cole, who's over there. We help with the Bitcoin Center of New York, and Satoshi Square is something that happens at the Bitcoin Center. So if you want to buy or trade or auction Bitcoin in New York, go there to do that.
Cool. Wendell.
Hey guys, Wendell Davis. I'm here from Hive Wallet and Human, and you know, just super amazed at what's going on. That's all I can really say about it. Nice to meet you all.
Joseph.
Hey, Joe Lubin, working with the Ethereum project, done work in technology, finance, in entertainment.
Jeremy. Sorry, Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason. I do all the random stuff, clean, research, whatever I'm asked to do.
Write software. Right, yeah. Mr. Vitalik?
Yes, I'm Vitalik, inventor of Ethereum, I suppose. Yes. I also helping out with
Amir.
My name is Amir Shetrit. I was involved and I joined the Ethereum project, and I'm happy to be here.
Gentlemen, come on.
We lost the feed. We lost the feed?
Because of every 12 minutes it shuts off.
That's some serious personal
Don't miss out.
disclosure here.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe your last name.
Good luck spelling.
You should have said Amir, not Taki.
That's what I'm thinking.
You should just run with it.
I can't just say my name is Amir now because people are going to be like.
Say Amir and you pause.
And Gab, not Andreessen.
And then people will believe your last name's not Taki.
I could say Amir Taki, not.
Did you see it?
Or you could say,
Is that everybody over there, guys?
Okay, we got you back here. There's something wrong with our camera, but where did we leave off?
I think we got partially Vitalik's introduction, so.
Sure. Okay. So.
Did you get the spelling of Amir's last name?
We know Amir is not Amir Taki. Thank you.
That's right. Amir, not Taki.
Amir, not Taki.
Okay. We got Vitalik. We got Amir. All right.
Hi, I'm Gianni. I'm from the Miami Meetup group. I also launched a website called 51 Attack, which is some crypto T-shirts, and I sell them for like 37 different cryptos.
All right. We'll meet up for that.
Windows 8 sucks so bad. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, blame Windows 8 for the battery dying. Really. Okay. Well, Gab.
Hi, Gavin Wood, C++ guy. I implemented the first Ethereum client.
And hi. My name is Cole. I am helping out down at the New York City, at the Bitcoin Center in New York City. I work with Jonathan on the meetups, and I'm also a professional photographer.
And we've also got two people that are out for a walk, which is Jason King from Sean's Outpost, who's going to be part of the, who's running Bitcoin across America, literally running from Florida, from Miami to San Francisco, starting at the end of the Bitcoin conference on Sunday. So he's with also my partner Steve from KryptoKit. Steve is the developer brains behind KryptoKit and also initially Satoshi Circle. So they're actually gone. They'll be back in a bit. So where did you want to take this, Will?
Well, thanks everybody for gathering. This was a really awesome surprise that we could include everybody. So I know all of our members are super grateful, and hopefully the viewing public is as well. I want to kind of turn the floor over to you guys to talk about the main projects that, well, I know Ethereum was announced last night, and we'd love to hear from you guys who, are at the ground floor of that project and talk about what we missed because we're here in the, sub-zero cold in Wisconsin, and I guess anything else that you guys are interested in about the Miami conference. Looking forward to, or highlights from things that have already happened. Yeah, we want to hear from the Ethereum team, and then talk about KryptoKit and Hive, and then just talk about meetups and how we all can collaborate and fast track adoption.
Is it done?
The video? It's done. It's just going to process.
Okay, cool. And we're going to try to, we're having a little bit, it's breaking up a bit, so we're going to make sure we're not doing anything here on our internet that's...
If they can hear us, can they just call us? We'll just phone. Because the video feed will still go. But
sure. Yeah, but how are they going to hear the phone?
Well, they hear our mic. Our mic. And
yeah, but on a cell phone?
We plug it into a speaker. We plug in the mic just give them a physical call.
Yeah, to who? To one of their cell phones?
You guys are sounding pretty good to us.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're actually comprehensible. We can understand.
It's fine,
you.
yeah.
It's
Just make sure,
it's
guys,
just a
we're not
little
doing
bit-
anything internet related with the Wi-Fi here. Let's try to stop anything like that. Okay. So, guys, try not to use the internet for the next little while, so we're kind of breaking up here. Okay, so you want to start off with Ethereum, and probably either Vitalik or Charles would be best to start with that. So, Charles, are you around? Or Vitalik, go.
If you guys
do it.
could. All right. So the idea behind Ethereum, it's this project that we just started working on.
If you guys could.
Say that again.
Yeah, just talk about how Vitalik's idea came to reality and where the rest of the team came together to help realize it.
Sure. Do you want to move up a bit here?
Sure. So I first came up, wrote the Ethereum white paper back in late November. So I had been working with various different sort of cryptocurrency 2.0 type projects for months before that. I'd done quite a bit of work for coworkings, some work for Mastercoin. I came up with the contracts for difference proposal for them, for example. And so after I wrote the white paper, I basically sent out an email to about 15 people asking, hey, I came up with this, what do you guys think of it? And at that point, I was actually pretty much expecting that some advanced cryptographers would come in and either give some reasons why this is never going to work or point me to 5 other projects that were already doing it. But yet, somehow it just turned out that people liked the idea, and so I made another revision of the white paper, sent it out to about 20 or 30 people next time, and then just from there it sort of went viral all on its own. So I contacted Anthony Iorio, and who runs the Bitcoin Alliance of Canada. We had known each other for about a year before that, and Mihai Alicia, who I actually co-founded Bitcoin Magazine with, and at that point Anthony brought Charles in, and I also brought Amir in, and we basically formed the leadership team and started working on turning the white paper into reality.
So yeah, I'd known Vitalik for about a year. We had 10 people at the initial Bitcoin meetup in the end of the summer of 2012, and it was myself, Vitalik, Peter Todd, some really good people that came out to the first meetup in Toronto. And so I got to know Vitalik there, and then he was doing a lot of traveling, and it just so happened he was heading back to Toronto for all his travels over the last couple of weeks. So it's the same time as we got the building set up in Toronto. The meetup's going really strong. We meet every single week right now. And yeah, it was just seemed to fit, and he needed some, a place where we can work, and the idea was amazing, and I really trust him. I'd worked on many stories with him in the past where he's either interviewed me for the Bitcoin Alliance or the meetup or different things, and I've always referred to him as the most technical and best writer in Bitcoin, and I really trust what he's doing, and we've got a good relationship, and every day we're working together at Bitcoin Decentral. We're bringing in new people. That's going to be a space for the Ethereum project to have offices. We don't want to say it's a central hub for Ethereum, but it's going to be a place where we can do some work on the project. And it's the most exciting project that I'm involved in right now, and I'm involved in quite a few different projects. So that's how it came about. And do you want to explain a little bit more, Vitalik or Charles? Talk about Ethereum. What is Ethereum?
Okay. I suppose the best way of explaining Ethereum is to kind of talk a little bit about Bitcoin and its history and where it came from, and then the need for something like Ethereum becomes evident. So Bitcoin really came about in 2008 and 2009 as an experiment for 2 pieces of technology. The first piece of technology was the blockchain. So this notion, an idea of a decentralized database that you can put things in, it's secure, and it's transparent. Everybody has a copy of it. The second thing was an idea of a transaction system. It says, okay, I can move positions from person A to person B. There's no third party that's involved. There's no clawbacks. It's a very nice thing. So the combination of these two together actually created effectively a currency. And so there was this third thing that could have been done but was decided not to do in the experiment, which was the idea of a Turing-complete scripting system. The idea of saying, okay, maybe our transactions can be more than just simply moving money. Maybe our transactions can have smart contracts or smart property. Maybe we can build autonomous agents that live on the blockchain. So fast forward 5 years, we now have a situation where we have a $10 billion market cap. The idea of the blockchain is very well vetted by some of the world's best cryptographers, from Adi Shamir to Dan Bonnet and others. And the transaction system works. So we know that the experiment has succeeded. So there's been a lot of excitement in the community, from master coins to colored coins to this idea of bit shares, of this idea of a 2.0 style currency, the idea of an iteration, the missing features that were left out of Bitcoin, to re-implement them, and a lot of different philosophies on how that ought to be done. So Ethereum is really a project of frustration, and it's a frustration from the first attempts to implement the missing features of Bitcoin, because there really are three things that have happened. First, we've seen a lot of isolation. Second, we've seen a lot of fragmentation. And third, we've seen a tremendously high cost of innovation. You know, to do things that should cost maybe $10,000 or $15,000 in a few programming weeks, are ending up costing $500,000, $1 million, and just not getting the results that they need. And also, you have this finiteness with these implementations where they have a catalog of features, and they have to make trade-offs and decisions. Do we want to support Namecoin? Do we want to support a decentralized Dropbox? So what we did with Ethereum, the brilliance of really what Vitalik designed, was to say, hey, let's go ahead and take a step back, and instead of having features, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and do everything, let's take the exact opposite approach. Let's just build a foundation and create this Turing-complete scripting language, which is as powerful as Python or C++, and allow people to build their own features, allow people to build their own products. Let's just build this beautiful foundation. But also, since we're doing that, let's take this as an opportunity to end all that isolation and fragmentation by unifying the development process for everybody who has a Bitcoin project. So I take it probably most of you are familiar with Android. And one of the most magical and amazing things about the Android experience is the one-click application, where you have this foundation, you go to the catalog, you select your app, you click one button, and you install it. Why don't we have that for the cryptocurrency world? Why is that not here? Why is it when I want BitMessage, I can't just click a button and I have BitMessage? When I want open transactions, I just click a button and I have open transactions. So part of our philosophy, this idea of modularity and universality, is embracing that notion. So we're going to build this beautiful Turing-complete foundation, this revolutionary blockchain, this notion of contracts to do everything that allow you to do smart property and decentralized applications that are just absolutely amazing. But then we're also going to marry that to this incredibly lightweight reference client that you guys can pick up and use everyday code and use the APIs just like you would develop an Android application. And then you'll be able to deploy something in just a few weeks, one click, that potentially can have millions of users, just like you can do that today with iPhone or with Android. So that's really what the Ethereum project is about. Its goal is to remove the isolation, the fragmentation. Its goal is to make innovation cheap. Its goal is to bring everybody together. Its goal is to work with everybody, partner with everybody, and really get the community involved from day number one in the next generation of cryptocurrencies.
That's really exciting. So I guess I want to know, and I think some of the other folks who know about the 2.0 protocols and stuff, how does Ethereum compete or compare in terms of advantages to things like NXT, Mastercoin, and the Invictus Innovation DAX and things like that?
Right. Well, I helped found Invictus Innovations. I'm quite familiar with their product line. In terms of others like Next, there's certainly some interesting things there. But really, if you look at Mastercoin or Colorcoin or any of these other things, they live a level above Ethereum. What we're really doing with Ethereum is building the missing foundation. Whenever you see a problem where it's expensive to do anything and it's really time costly to do anything, it's telling you you're not building it on the right foundation. So where we see us living in this ecosystem once Ethereum is complete is being the preferred platform for master coins to be deployed upon. We see ourselves as being the preferred platform for colored coins to build upon. Invictus Innovations really needs to have a platform to launch all their DAX. They're doing some very exciting things. We would love to be the preferred platform to have DAX launched on. So that's what we're going for. And so we're going to be partnering with everybody. We intend on joining Coda, for example, and most of the people in the space are in Coda. And we intend on doing a lot of other things to try to reach out and work with everyone from open transactions to the BitMessage guys to the Ripple guys and see how many partners we can accumulate along the way to help us build this together. So our goal is never to compete. Rather, our goal is to kind of just get everybody behind the notion of a single foundation that they can innovate on top of to everyone's benefit.
Cool. That's a good answer. I think one of the things that strikes me about the Ethereum project is like the philosophical underpinnings of it. And I guess I kind of want to hear from, Charles and especially Vitalik, of course, but anyone else in the room too who would want to contribute why this strikes such a chord with the psychology or the philosophy of, the crypto user out there. Those of us who've been around watching it for a while who are big fans of cryptocurrency in general, decentralized applications in general, and also those who should be but aren't yet.
You want to start?
I'm not sure exactly what the
question ask
is.
the question again, maybe in a more direct, like what.
Yeah,
what
I guess. I won't. Like, what inspired you to create this, Vitalik? Like, from a philosophical standpoint.
Right. Well. So we suppose what really inspired me to create this was just seeing all of these other different protocols that people were trying to come up with, and well, I would say personally for myself, just personally, like one of the things that I really care about a lot is making things accessible. So by that and making things friendly. I don't necessarily mean like to the average user, but at the very least to the average developer. So by that, if you have ever read some of my articles on Bitcoin Magazine, that's something that I continuously strive for, to try and explain often deeply technical topics, but in such a way that pretty much anyone has at least some way of getting into them that they can understand. So it's a matter of really not. It's a matter of saying that all these different building blocks of the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency ecosystem should be accessible to all. That we should not try to overwhelm people with complexity, and that we should not hide complexity, and we should make simple tools that anyone can use. And I would say like that philosophy is all I'm carrying a large part of that into Ethereum as well. So in Ethereum, like if you've read the white paper, you've seen some examples of this really simple high-level programming language where you can write something like Namecoin or something like a decentralized Dropbox in 5 or 15 lines of code, and you don't have to worry about implementing your own blockchain or constructing your own currency or anything like that. We take all of the complexity and we abstract it away. And ultimately, I would say even our platform itself, we're trying to make it maximally simple. So, like the idea with Ethereum in general, I would say is, as Charles said, to reduce the cost of innovation, to try and be as modular as possible, to be as easy to use as possible. Ultimately, really just create an open door for people who so far might have been even scared away from participating in all these different cryptocurrency 2.0 initiatives, simply because there weren't really any good platforms for it, and giving them a chance.
Okay, let me extend.
Cool. Thanks, Vitalik.
I think
if anybody,
we got one more thing here from Joseph.
Yeah, I think what you might be at the core asking is where our energy or where our excitement is rooted. I think a lot of the clear, forward-thinking people in the cryptocurrency space have been seeing distributed autonomous corporations or organizations as the inevitable future, and have been frustrated at trying to build in a sort of kludgy way on an infrastructure that was designed not really to support that. And Vitalik basically banged his head on that infrastructure. for many, many months trying to solve problems that were just much too difficult. They're solvable, but it shouldn't be very hard to solve them. And Vitalik just took a step back and said, let's just do this right.
Cool.
Yeah, we got another addition here.
Go for it.
I'm a Miami meetup guy, so hi from Miami. And I'm meeting all these guys for the first time, and I'm very excited to actually be in this room. But I can tell you from my point of view, from reading the white paper as well, that my parents are from Cuba, and I see how a government like that can be completely disruptive to the liberties of those people. And technology like this, and especially the way that it's being mentioned right now, Cuba has some of the most fantastic computer scientists that I've ever met in my life, and they're just hidden. Nobody knows about them, and something like this could be pretty profound to help them change what's going on there. So I'm very excited about what's happening. So.
Awesome. Yeah, that's what excites me personally so much is the potentials for much more oppressive regimes than maybe we suffer under even in the U.S. to be divested with these kinds of innovations. So we want to give you guys a huge round of applause at the end of our call here for building the things you're building and talk about some of the other wallets and other projects whose the creative brains of those are in the room as well. But I guess one more important question about Ethereum, and I'll maybe check our membership to see if they have any questions about Ethereum. But could you, Charles, Vitalik, or anybody else, give an example of a type of application that would be built on Ethereum that would demonstrate its power?
I'll give you a great example. So we have a problem with our organization. We're going to probably raise a boatload of money. I guess that's a problem, right? Because you have to store it somewhere. So the traditional sense is you store that in a central entity, a corporation, a nonprofit, right? And then you have to have an accounting, you have to have fiduciary stuff, you have to have a whole bunch of infrastructure connected to that, and that lives in a jurisdiction, just like Wikipedia does, just like ICANN does. And so we were talking with Eric Voorhees about it, and he's like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like central entities. And then we said, Eric, I think you're right. I think we have a really good opportunity to show how powerful Ethereum is. So we're going to be working with Kyle, with that central entity that we create, and over a systematic process, a period of time, 12, 24 months, however long it takes to get it done, we're going to turn the Ethereum organization completely into a decentralized, autonomous organization living right on the Ethereum blockchain. And we're going to make that publicly accessible. It's like a how-to manual, and we're going to propagate it through the whole world. And then what we want you guys to help us with is go to Wikipedia, the Wikimedia guys, and say, why are you running in a jurisdiction? This should live on the internet. Go to the WikiLeaks guys and say, why are you running in a jurisdiction? This should live on the internet. Go put it on Ethereum. And you're going to have the manual and everything you need and all the help from us to get that done. So that's an example of something that no matter how hard you engineer Bitcoin or what you try to do to it, you're not going to get that out of Bitcoin. You need Ethereum to make that done. So that's a great example of an application.
Let's talk about the contracts.
Sure.
Yeah. So contract. So what a contract is basically the fundamental building block inside of Ethereum. So other cryptocurrencies, as we discussed, might have separate features for things like issuing your own currency or decentralized exchange or on block or peer-to-peer gambling or whatever. In Ethereum, we don't have features. Pretty much anything that you can do with Ethereum is done through this mechanism of a contract. So a contract is like this autonomous agent that lives inside of the Ethereum network. It has a balance. It has scripting code, and it has its memory storage. And every time you send a transaction to a contract, that contract activates and it runs its scripting code. And that scripting code might modify the storage, or it might send a transaction. So just to make a simple example, say if you wanted to implement something like multi-signature transactions in Ethereum, so you would have a contract. That contract will just let people send money to it, just like a Bitcoin multi-sig address. And then if you wanted to do a withdrawal, you would construct a special transaction type that you would send to that contract. It would initiate it. It would record that a withdrawal has been initiated. It might wait for three signatures for 2 or 3 other people to approve it, and then once number of people approved it, the contract code would make the contract automatically execute the withdrawal. So essentially, the idea is that you can use these contracts to encode pretty much any kind of rules or any kind of contracts, any kind of rules, any kind of escrow system that can be mathematically defined.
Awesome. Thanks, Vitalik. Do we have any questions from our members here in Milwaukee? Come on up, James.
Hello, I'm James Wilson, former CTO of Bitspin, the first Bitcoin proxy company, now CTO of BitMarkers, who let you spend Bitcoins in Vegas casinos. And I was just wondering, do you have any critical complaints, critical thoughts about Ethereum, like maybe concerns over the Turing-complete programming language downsides of possible endless loops or malicious features? And also, what other projects are you guys outside of this room? And thank you again for all your hard work.
Oh, cool. Right. So scalability and bloat is an issue we are definitely thinking hard about. In general, our mechanism for handling that is that we have a fee that every contract has to pay per computational step. So if you try and make a contract that does 1 million computational steps every time you send a transaction to it, that contract will go bankrupt and basically start doing nothing very quickly.
The looping, what's curious?
In terms of things like the halting problem, for example, if you have a good background in theoretical computer science, you know that you can't convince a computer to understand it's in an endless loop. So you regulate those kinds of problems with a fee system, and during the testnet, we'll be fine-tuning and tweaking it to make sure that it matches. But we think we have a pretty good fee system right now. In terms of other limitations with the Turing-complete language, you always have to be concerned about the security side of things. And that's my background. I'm in cryptography. So I think about the design of the sandbox, and there's been some phenomenal innovations that we've learned as a result of the missteps of things like .NET and Java. And we've also seen some great innovations done in the browser space with how the JavaScript engine's been sandboxed. And there's also amazing things you can do with virtual machines, like Docker.io. There's a whole bunch of things that you can arrange. So we're putting together a pretty good security team here that's going to take a little time to get fully mature, but we'll be testing a lot of vectors of attack during the testnet. But we don't anticipate there's going to be things like sandbox escape or any of those problems. Mostly because we've limited the level of interaction the sandbox has with the client's computer, similar to how JavaScript is limited to what it can do to a client's computer.
I would even say that our language is weaker than JavaScript.
Yes.
Contracts cannot fetch stuff off of the internet. Contracts cannot make HTTP requests. Contracts cannot do anything with the file system. Everything that's inside of the Ethereum network stays inside of the Ethereum network.
And what was the follow-up question you had about the different I think things that we were doing, or aside from this? What was it you were saying?
Outside.
Yeah.
Other products we're just working on?
That you're excited about outside the room.
We can talk about CryptoKit if you like.
CryptoKit.
Yeah. Talk about CryptoKit and Hive and Dark Wallet and where wallet clients are going, where you guys want them to go.
Sure. So I think what's amazing about this project and what's amazing about a lot of things we're seeing is the collaboration effort that all different organizations are taking here. Like the people in the wallet space right now, whether it's blockchain or Hive or Dark Wallet or CryptoKit, we're just working together and we're trying to standardize a lot of things and make it easier and trying to make a system in place that users can be comfortable with Bitcoin wallets. And it's the collaboration effort's amazing. There's actually, I don't see any competition whatsoever in that space. So we've got Wendell here from Hive, myself, I'm here from CryptoKit. We've been in contact with Amir Taki. Vitalik's worked on both helping out into Dark Wallet. He's now a partner with CryptoKit as well. And if you guys don't know what CryptoKit is, it's the first extension instant wallet system. It's an extension for Chrome It's a very simple wallet to set up. You move your mouse around and you've got a Bitcoin wallet address, no login, no usernames, no passwords. It sits in your browser. You open it up when you need it, and it drags Bitcoin addresses and also pricing from all the BitPay sites or Coinbase sites, and offers two-click payments right inside your browser without needing to go through different tabs or copying and pasting addresses. It's there when you need it. And it's got also GPG encrypted messaging built in, so it's got an instant messaging system. It's got the payment system with the wallet. We've got Bitcoin charts in there. We've got Google Reddit feed, news feed. We have a link for Sean's Outpost to do a direct donations right from in the site. And then this weekend, we're announcing a partnership with BitPay and offering a Bitcoin directory of the BitPay sites. We're going to be rolling out a number of sites over the next few weeks, but we offer two-click payments for all BitPay sites and Coinbase sites and any other site that wants to implement a very easy feature to drag in the Bitcoin address and the Bitcoin amount right into our Chrome extension browser. So we're looking at it as a social network that could form that's extremely small, has no bandwidth requirements, extremely secure in terms of messaging, and we're really excited about that. And that's come about a month and a half ago. And that's KryptoKit. KryptoKit's also going to be a source for the Ethereum fundraiser. We're also a sponsor on Jason King's Bitcoin Across America, which is a run that Jason King from Sean's Outpost is starting on Sunday, running from Florida, from Miami, Florida to San Francisco in 4.5 months. And we're a major sponsor of that. KryptoKit is. Now, we lost our video feed. Can you guys still hear us okay, though?
Yeah, we've got you.
Okay. And I'll pass it off to Wendell. He can talk a little bit more about Hive.
Sure, do we have video now? Hey guys, assuming you can still hear me, this is Wendell from Hive. If you want to kind of know about Hive, basically we're kind of targeting a very entry-level, novice-oriented cryptocurrency platform, and the idea behind it is really it's an easy way to, quote, get, send, and spend Bitcoin, meaning the wallet helps you in kind of a wizard-like way to get Bitcoin, kind of tells you about it, what it is. Obviously there's a peer-to-peer, person-to-person transfers inside of it, and there's also a built-in app store that lets you kind of do merchant discovery and things like that. So, we target sort of a minimal feature set and try to be kind of like a very, simplistic, attractive, easy-to-use wallet. It's really a good platform for novice users. Right now it's OS 10 only, but we have an Android version in development. We acquired Jan Bornberger's Bridgewalker wallet for that purpose. And we have a lot of cool features coming out very soon. And this Miami event is going to be sort of our 1.0-ish coming out party. So that's what we're doing. So thanks.
Cool. So where does Dark Wallet fit in with some of these more user-friendly wallets like Hive and KryptoKit? And then kind of a follow-up to that, what's the missing link for making wallet software accessible to the masses?
I can answer at least part of that question. I mean, I'm a big fan of those guys, and I think what they're doing is incredibly interesting. And the thing that I sort of proposed when I actually met with them at the Dark Wallet meeting in Milan, and what I proposed was that a sort of Dark Wallet certification be created, which would allow wallet creators to essentially adhere to a body of more or less agreed upon best practices. And Hive will be one of those wallets where it does not necessarily, well, let's say there would be some kind of balance between usability and those kind of features. But for the most part, most of it's transparent and stuff that the user doesn't have to think about. We just have to come up with like reasonably good UX for it. So to that question, I really don't know where the Dark Wallet project, the official Dark Wallet project stands. But I know that, more or less, I think it kind of came into being, in my opinion, perhaps to just sort of, set in motion a dialogue about, what should be in wallets.
I also think that with the announcement of that, I mean, KryptoKit came about and did a lot of what Dark Wallet was attempting to do, and we did it really quickly. And I think it's basically the mixing service is the only thing that we haven't really implemented that Dark Wallet was trying to do. So we've done pretty much everything else. And we would love to implement that as well. Yep. But I mean, we've spoken with Amir, and I think everybody's just on the same page, and everybody's just working together to get these things out here. So we've got Vitalik on board with KryptoKit right now. We also brought Roger Bear and Eric Voorhees, our partners now with KryptoKit, and Vitalik's focusing on I think implementing mixing. That's his main focus on our project right now. And my partner Steve, who's done all the development of KryptoKit, he's not here. He's out for a walk right now, but yeah, he's a phenomenal developer. He does things really quickly, and we were able to develop KryptoKit in about a week.
I know a lot of us are eager for a mixing feature in KryptoKit or any simple wallet software, so that we can start sharing that with you know, some of our skeptical family and friends, or just use it ourselves.
I think that's definitely going to be a more or less. I mean, I would say that's more or less going to be a standard feature in a lot of wallets.
Right. But getting back to the usability question that you guys asked, the problem with wallet software today isn't the security for the most part. If you follow best practices, you can have a very secure user experience. The problem is the user experience itself, the simplicity of it. The internet really didn't get magical until we had the web browser and a lot of functionality in the web browser. And email wasn't magical until we had clients that could do that. And so it's the same deal for Bitcoin wallets. You need to have a situation where commerce is simple. Bitcoin is very simple. It's very easy to send Bitcoins, but it's actually not a good user experience. You have to copy and paste these addresses. You have to do all of these kinds of things. The other problem is that you need to really start marrying identity and commerce together so that you can interface with websites and the ways that you want to, especially when you think about the user experience today and where that's gone wrong. So with just a little bit more massaging, you can have a situation where it's really easy to send Bitcoins, to buy anything. It's two-click commerce. KryptoKit will have that probably in 6 months. It'll be the most magical, insanely great user experience ever. Wonderful. But here's the problem. You still have usernames. You still have passwords. You still have all of these other problems. Well, what if every user in the internet could have a key pair associated with their name? They could have a public-private key pair. Well, KryptoKit's making that easier. It's now integrating PGP. What does that mean long term? It means that you can just click a button to log in. That's it. No username, no password. You don't have to remember anything. But that's 100 times more secure than any password you could ever construct, because the credentials live with you. They live in the browser, and it's a wonderful user experience, and you'll never have to worry about a lost password again. These are the kinds of things these platforms enable, and when they're married with something like Bitcoin, really the possibilities are endless. You can start seeing like micro-social networks form. You can start seeing Cointagion get really, really fired up. You can start seeing a next generation of advertisements that actually have products embedded in the ads, like a video game built into an ad. You click a button to buy right there from the ad. These are all frictionless things that Bitcoin actually enables us to do. It's just the user experience isn't where it needs to be yet. And so I'm most excited out of any project outside of Ethereum for KryptoKit. I think they really got it heads on, and they have a wonderful development strategy. The other thing that needs to be done in the space for user experience is to recognize where your users are. Increasingly, more and more people, especially in the developing world, live on cell phones and in tablets. In fact, for most people who are getting onto the internet now, their first device is a cell phone. And so you have to build a user experience, and you have to build a Bitcoin client around the mobile space. And so I'm really excited to see the long term of where things like KryptoKit and Hive and other applications can go, because I think they're probably going to have the easiest time building and delivering not only a secure but a comprehensive user experience within the mobile space.
So I don't know if this is an answerable question, but how long until we can have wallet applications on iOS that are like KryptoKit or Dark Wallet or Hive and the like?
Well, yeah, part of that is the decision of Apple, because they control that ecosystem, and Apple has to make a decision whether to allow applications to be deployed that have Bitcoin and what the conditions are there. You can kind of walk your way through the back door by using something like Dolphin and installing extensions. And there are hacks to certainly get around it. But ultimately, when you're living in a closed ecosystem, you kind of have to rely upon the gatekeepers. If Microsoft doesn't want something on Windows, it won't be on Windows. If Apple doesn't want something on Apple, it's not going to be on Apple, right? That said, I think larger companies understand Bitcoin much better today than they did a couple of years ago, especially Google. And I think moving into the future, all of the big companies, whether they be Microsoft, Apple, or Google, will embrace Bitcoin fully. And some of the best Bitcoin wallets will probably be wallets produced by those vendors, which is wonderful. And I think it's going to be great for the ecosystem and the user experience overall.
So what do you guys think will happen first? Will people stop using Apple devices, or will people develop workarounds that are easy for the average user to implement, to download onto their iOS device.
Well, I mean, I think you probably saw, wasn't it Kyle Drake who from what was it called?
CoinPunk.
CoinPunk.
Yeah, Kyle's a great guy.
Kyle Drake from CoinPunk actually managed to get HTML5 QR code reading. So I mean, more like, he was able to I'm sorry, just to be clear. CoinPunk is a hosted web wallet, but it's an open source project that you can host yourself. So if you want to have a web wallet installed somewhere, you can simply install CoinPunk and you get all those kind of features. But he made some pretty impressive strides with making that something that would be usable on a day-to-day basis, assuming you had a mobile phone, an iPhone, and internet access. So I mean, I think it's reasonably close. I mean, like in Hive, for example, we would love to create like a beautiful, wonderful iOS app, but I just don't have the resources to potentially completely waste. I've seen too many wallets retracted from the ecosystem. So I think that they probably will just end up bending when the user pressure is sufficient enough to do so. And when they probably, after that, I mean, I guess it's Apple, so they'll figure that out when they can actually figure out how to make a profit from it. So,
which will come soon.
Yeah, probably.
That comment got a little bit of applause over here. Well, tell us a little bit about what you guys are excited about in terms of what's on the agenda for the Miami conference, or any highlights that have already happened.
I'm really excited for the Vitalik Buterin speech. I think that's going to be amazing. Levy aside, there's some great people there. Dr. Charles Evans is speaking. I'm going to be on a panel with Jason King where we get to do the great cryptocurrency 2.0 debate. Invictus Innovations is being represented by Dan Larimer, and Dave Johnson is doing Mastercoin, and I'm representing Ethereum. So there's certainly a lot of great content at that conference, and it's going to be really exciting to walk in there. But it's not just the presentations that make conferences. It's really the people. And this is going to be a fairly large conference and a lot of good people. So I'm really looking forward to the unknown unknowns that we'll experience there.
Cool. And guys, I'd like to know a little bit more about your meetup there. Talk about how that came about and how often you're meeting and who's involved and how many people you have there.
Sure, guys. Well, we've got nearly 100 members on our meetup group. Over 100, I think over 150 on the Facebook group and Facebook page. Is over 200 now, and we regularly have about 25 to 35 people show up every week. And we're, I think the 50th or 48th largest city in America or something, so I think that's saying something. And we've done a lot of community outreach activities. We have block parties here in Milwaukee over the summer and fall time. So these are attended, in various neighborhoods, attended by thousands of people. So we have info booths up at those and capture a lot of people who've never heard about Bitcoin or maybe heard about it in passing, over the summer and the fall when it was still relatively unknown, and got to stimulate some interest that way. Our focus right now, we're going to have some fundraisers coming up where we want to raise money for some nonprofits who are non-traditional Bitcoin sort of nonprofits. Some national ones with local chapters, like Autism Speaks is one, and we're hoping to raise a bunch of money for them in Bitcoin and have some decently well-known corporate sponsors here locally for that event coming up. I will make sure to keep everybody posted. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it is really ground floor stuff. So we have 5 to 7 new faces every week, and we need to make sure that we know which ones need to be integrated into the Bitcoin community, as it were, and provide them with the sufficient information to give them the comfort in their early exploration of the Bitcoin space and such. And then, of course, every week there's a new member that is a longtime veteran, if you will, of Bitcoin, and they provide a lot of richness. I'm really always flabbergasted at the level of talent we have here, and kind of overwhelmed at how to try to bring our talent pool to the Bitcoin community so that the talent here can collaborate with the awesome projects that are going on around the world. So, yeah, I don't know. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I'm really excited about what you guys are doing. I don't know how much you told your members about the franchise or the Meta Meetup group concept that Yumi and John have been talking about, but I think you guys have a great following and a wonderful model, and I'm hoping that can be spread to more meetup groups as soon as possible. Good work, and I really admire it.
Good, and yeah, I think it's excellent too. We got there's 3 groups. We got Jonathan here for Bitcoin NYC, who I've learned a lot from over the last year and a half about consistency and doing the meetups every single week and doing themed events. So he's been helpful with the one in Toronto. We've got about 550 members, I think, now. We do it as well. We do it on a weekly basis. I think that's key. And I think we should try to collaborate more and do presentations, simulcast presentations with different meetup groups, and try to set on a certain day that we can make Bitcoin events happening all the same time. So I'd love to work with you guys a little bit more. I know Jonathan does as well. And I think we're going to talk about that this weekend, Will, about what we can do to collaborate more in that effort. But
I would just very easily make the Meta Meetup Group website just be the aggregator for all of our videos from the meetups.
Yeah, and that could even be part of the Global Bitcoin Alliance that we're starting right now. That's actually would be a perfect place, because we're listing all the meetups in there, and that would be a perfect place to have that thing.
However the verbiage is for that you want to make that,
yeah.
Like we could, the meetup component of the Global Bitcoin Alliance, I think would be whatever the subsidiary should be.
That's right, and I mean it's about having one presentation that we can simulcast on a certain day instead of having every single group do a presentation. We can, it's a way of saving time to focus on other things involved. So, no, it's great, and that's it. I'm done.
It's exciting to hear that from you guys, because that's where my passion lies. I want to contribute what I can to build the human network on top of the Bitcoin platform, and working with Charles, Anthony, Vitalik and I met at PorcFest. That was a thrill for me, reading his work even prior to the summer and stuff. And Jonathan, our conversations have been fun. I guess one last thing I know, we want to be able to support Jason King in his run. So if Jason is there, could he tell us what we can do to help support his project?
He's still not back from his walk yet. He's starting on Sunday. I guess supporting it by just retweeting what he's doing, and I don't know. He's got the site BitcoinAcrossAmerica.com. You can go take a look at that now. But yeah, it's starting on Monday. On Sunday, he'll be doing for about five months, and yeah, I guess getting people to donate to his website. He's already raised, I've been told, like 80, 90 Bitcoins since he announced it, which is phenomenal. And that's just getting started. I know like Al Jazeera is going to be covering it. I think they're going to get massive media attention for this run that he's doing, and this big, massive RV that will be following him across the country. So I think we're just starting on that, and that's extremely exciting.
That's amazing, man. He needs to teach a class on fundraising in Bitcoins.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we're going to start eating here. We got food delivered.
Quick question for what's the name of the CEO of Bitmarkers?
The CTO of Bitmarkers here is a member of our meetup, James Wilson.
Okay, yeah. Does he work with Arden?
He does, yeah.
Okay,
they're like,
cool. Yeah, I know.
they're like the only two guys right now.
And the gentleman from BitSpent?
That's correct.
Yeah, man. I whenever I talk in the media about Bitcoin and what I bought with Bitcoin, I talk about the computer that we bought a few months ago and the flights we bought, and that's the kind of things I do. So it's a shame you guys aren't around anymore, but we used your service when you were.
Cool, big thumbs up from him. Hey guys, thank you so much.
One more thing.
It's a pleasure talking to all you. Go ahead.
Hey guys, it's Kyle here again. So I'm going to link on the bottom of the post on your Google Plus page, as well as in the chat on the YouTube page, the brand new video for Ethereum that actually just went live right now. So by all means, check it out. It's designed to be comprehensive. It's about 10 minutes long, and it should give you a really in-depth overview of Ethereum and the significance.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it right now. So as soon as we hang up, thank you guys so much.
One more thing.
Question.
One more.
Can I get the CTO of Bitmarkers email?
You can do that offline.
I can't find it.
We'll find it for you. Okay.
Hey,
join
the mailing
list. Let's do this more regularly.
Let's definitely do this more regularly. Join the mailing list on bitmarkers.com, and James is the one who'll catch those for you. And reach out to me, Will, at BitcoinMKE.org. I'll make sure that you can get in touch with him.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, guys. I'm going to try to pull up that video. You guys can mill around. We're going to get our next guest on. Thanks for... No, we got to keep it going for Michael. They'll have to drop and then... Yeah, I muted it. Yeah.
Sorry,
To be honest,
Stand by, everybody. Michael Dunworth, CEO of SnapCard, will be joining us shortly. Howdy, Michael.
Hey, what's up? How are you?
Good. 1 second, I'm going to get everybody settled here, and then we'll get going.
No worries, that's all good.
How warm is it in Australia right now?
It's boiling, but I'm wearing a jacket because I've got the air conditioning on in my room, so...
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, give me about 30 to 90 seconds, and we'll get going.
Yeah, cool, dude.
Michael, does this sound okay? Can you hear me all right or not?
Yeah, that's cool.
Michael Dunworth, CEO of SnapCard, joining us here, Bitcoin Milwaukee. Thanks, Michael. I'm going to let James Wilson introduce you.
Right.
And and then go ahead and fill in the blanks that he left out.
All right, cool. Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man? Long time no see. Since yesterday?
Yeah, literally.
So, welcome to our meetup.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Got a bunch of people here.
What's
coming
up?
to you from like 0-degree weather.
Yeah, I know.
Guys is both genders because it's we'll get into it later.
Yeah, I figured it was.
Royal. So there are other proxy services, but SnapCard is currently the best of breed in my opinion. It certainly is the easiest to use. You pretty much go on any retailer's website and you click the SnapCard button in your toolbar, and it parses the page. It extracts out how much the item costs and as much as possible automates the entire ordering process for you. Pretty damn cool. I looked at the source code and it's impressive. Yeah, SnapCard's really cool. And proxy service, like we were talking earlier, Bitspend I think was the first one that I was a CTO of. It allows you to buy anything with Bitcoin online, and SnapCard is the first company that allows you to pay the IRS with Bitcoin. And we laugh, but I think that's actually a very important practical thing. That means you can spend your entire life now in Bitcoin and pay off the government when you have to using Bitcoins. So it's very impressive. Good job, mate. He's coming to us from Australia right now, so it's like midnight there right now?
It's actually, oh fuck, I don't actually know what time it is. I've got 3 different clocks in front of me. Sorry, guys.
So they curse a lot?
Oh, I didn't mean to be rude. We swear a lot, but I don't mean to be rude. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, okay, yeah, in the afternoon.
Yeah.
He said that they often drop the F word more than they say like the or of, so it's very.
Tell them that's okay.
Very common.
I'll give you a funny thing, right? So in Australia, there's a common term. You guys might find it really rude saying this, but there's this common phrase that everyone says is, "You'll call your mates cunt and cunt's mate." If that makes any sense. I know it might sound rude, but that's like a thing we do basically. So I can't hear anything. I'm assuming no one got that.
No, we got that. We definitely got that.
Crickets. Crickets. Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. As far as the swear words go, that's all I've got.
Well, keep them coming, I guess. Keep them coming. But yeah, tell us about the genesis of SnapCard and how you all got started.
Yeah, so my partner, my co-founder, Yanni, we were living in a hacker house in San Francisco, and we were working on like a product to basically help people save money. We started running alpha tests on it, and it didn't hit the market well. So it was sort of like an evolution of that was this shopping product. I know it sounds kind of contradictory, but one helps you save money, the other helps you shop really easily. But we basically came around and we thought how cool Bitcoin was because we've always been into it, and we thought it'd be good to sort of make somewhere where everyone can spend their Bitcoins and make it really fluid and really easy without kind of making the Bitcoin user feel like they're alienated to follow, particular processes and stuff. So we started out with SnapCard, and we started working on it, and we posted the video to Reddit to try and get a bit of sort of understanding if anyone would like the product, and the feedback was really good. So we started developing it, and we just went from there. So we haven't looked back since, and that was at the beginning of November we started, or maybe late October, and then we launched our product to the public on 2 days before Thanksgiving, I think. So yeah, so it's been going for about 9 weeks, or eight or 9 weeks now.
Cool. And what would you like? I think it's been a success. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people who use SnapCard, but can you share any bit about the volume that you've experienced, or some of the more interesting transaction requests that you've encountered?
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to. So we've done a lot of interesting things. One of the ones was, I didn't even know these existed, but someone bought a racing goldfish from Denmark. I wasn't really sure that, I didn't know that was kind of a thing, but he was like, yeah, I've got a thing coming up which I need like a good fish for, and I need to buy it. And I was like, okay, of course you do. So it's kind of interesting. It's, you know, you've got the people that buy all their normal stuff from, you know, Amazon. They buy, whether it's TVs or socks or T-shirts or whatever, from a whole bunch of websites, Walmart, Best Buy. But I'd say the coolest one a person bought a motorbike a couple of days ago, which was really cool. And we've had someone buy a Mercedes-Benz, really good-looking car, for a fair. That was for about $80,000 approximately. So there's been a lot of the whole community's been really supportive to us. So we can't thank them enough, because everyone's just been really complimentary to us and referring friends and stuff like that. So we're working really hard to make it good for you guys. But yeah, it's been good so far. So I think your question was the transaction volume. I think we're about to approach the like $450,000 mark, and that's since the end of November. So that's with transactions that have gone through the site. But yeah, I think that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely. I love those stories. Let's see. Tell us. James has a question. Thanks, James.
Hey, I want you to share with the group what you were telling me about if you could implement returns processes and the craziness around returns.
Oh my God. So I talked to James a bit via like GChat. We speak sort of once a day, just how's your day and stuff. And he was asking me if you could automate the returns process. And there is like, I can't remember the exact one I told you. It's like the returns process for every website is so different. You've got like websites that will be, they'll tell you to print off a sticker, like once you've printed the sticker, take a photo of the printed sticker on the box, send it to them, send it back, you get it sent back, and then you can send it to them. And then you've got ones like Amazon where you just follow the procedures. I'm getting really bad, like, two-way sound, I think. Sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Better?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, sweet. Yeah, sure, that's better. No, so basically, James was talking about automating the returns, but you just can't, because there are some websites that have the most just disturbing processes to make a return. It's impossible. So some websites ask you to print something, other websites ask you to print something, take a photo of the printed item, email it back to them, and then they'll send you another thing to paste onto the actual box that you're shipping. So like obviously you can't like automate that sort of stuff because the processes is just absolutely ridiculous. But returns is obviously one of the biggest hurdles we have, but it's something that we've gotten pretty good at doing and streamlining for the users so that there's as little inconvenience as possible at the moment, which is cool. Now I don't think I can hear any. Yeah.
So, how many employees does SnapCard have, and how lean are you guys, and how has that helped in the early days?
Yeah. I think it has helped incredibly large amounts. At the moment, it's my co-founder and I, and we also have just gotten an intern, and we're doing like some development work on a few things that we're going to release soon. I can't talk too much about them, but they're really cool. They're really beneficial to the community. We think everyone's going to get a lot of use out of it. So. How lean have we been? Extremely lean. We're in an incubator in Silicon Valley called Boost VC. They've been really helpful and supportive with connecting us to people in the industry. We have, I think, the advantage of us being so small and agile is that we can adapt to feedback really, really quickly. And I know people say that, and they say, oh, we listen to your feedback and blah, blah, blah. But literally, like, people send us feedback, and we can do that overnight. And when we send that back to them the next morning, they're like, oh my God, you've done something like this quickly. You've been able to make a change that makes it, much more beneficial for all the users. So we try and reach out using surveys. I know if anyone here uses SnapCard, when we send out those surveys, it's purely just for us to get more information about what you guys want. So we might send out, it might be like 5 or 6 questions, which we know can be exhausting, and it's like, ugh, spam, but it's actually usually we literally read every single answer, and then we'll start formulating, okay, what are we going to do, and what are we going to build out for everyone now. So at the moment, like I said, we're building some really cool stuff, which I don't want to talk too much about because it's not all finished yet, but we'll be making announcements over the next sort of 2 weeks. I think that's right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Talk about being an entrepreneur just in general and the process of, getting into the incubation stage and fundraising or any of those types of aspects.
Yeah.
And then discuss some of the challenges you've experienced just with entrepreneurship in general, outside of the Bitcoin space,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So so one of the things I find with entrepreneurship, and my co-founder probably is very similar, is that it's like you live for the answer no, basically. So, and that's the only answer you ever hear, pretty much. So, if you're talking about fundraising, which I don't have a lot of personal experience fundraising. My last startup, we actually never raised capital. But at this startup, we are raising capital. We're in the middle of raising our seed round now. But, it's just a process of getting the answer no. And the way I think of it is I like being told no now so that there's more yeses to come. So if you're asking 100 people and one of them's going to say yes, you've got to get rid of all the no's. So every no just builds up the excitement for when the yes comes. It's just like, that's awesome. So, we applied to probably, I would say about 20 or 15 or 20 incubators, and we got told no from all of them. And, you get the email back and it says, thanks so much for your application and blah, blah, blah. But, it's heartbreaking at the time. But when you get that yes, it's like, oh my God, it's all worth it. You sit up, you work really hard, and you formulate these emails and all these questions to answers on incubator sheets and stuff, and you get told no, and you feel like you're wasting your time. But when you get the yes, it's literally worth it. So if there's anyone doing something like that and they're getting drilled with the answer no, just keep going. It's worth it. You'll get the dopamine hit when they say yes, and you'll be really excited. So it's all like, we're really happy that we didn't sort of, I suppose, not give up, because we're not there yet or anything like that, but we feel like we're in a really good position at the moment. So we're really happy that we just sort of stuck it out and just got told no by everyone a lot. And fortunately, Adam at Boost VC has been supported, like, really cool since day one. And he's an investor in Coinbase as well, so he's really into Bitcoin, which is why obviously we clicked from the beginning. And it's just sort of complementing that he saw some sort of value in what we were doing, but also us as entrepreneurs and people and stuff, which is cool. So I think, what was the question? Was I answering the question, or was I just rambling then?
You're on it, dude. You did it.
Okay, all right.
I need to know about your last startup. Tell us the story of your last startup, please.
Okay, sure. So I'm from Sydney. I used to work in finance, doing it was like a financial markets and software company. I ran a startup, or I started a startup with a bunch of friends, it was around the time in 2010 when Groupon was going crazy. But Groupon had reached that point where there was all the complaints from merchants with, oh, I sell cupcakes and I have no one in my door, and then I did a thing with Groupon, and now I've got 5,000 people wanting a cupcake on the same day. So they had no inventory management. So we wanted a way essentially it was a restaurant reservation booking website, but they could discount tables. So like Tuesday lunchtime, they might put 6 seats there for 30% off. And it would be a discrete discount. So you would never show a coupon. It would just be applied to your bill if you booked through our website. That was a really cool learning experience. We had a lot of trouble getting, when you've got a new idea, and the restaurant industry in particular, it is the most egotistical industry ever, because you've got restaurants who you're trying to tell them that they have available seats in their restaurant. And if you're telling a chef that his restaurant's not full every day and every night, it's like almost insulting. It's the most insulting thing. They think you're insulting their food, when in reality it's just the nature of the beast. So we had a lot of trouble starting out, but we had some breakthroughs, and eventually we got we got a really good user base in Sydney, in Australia. There are lots of nice restaurants, and we eventually ended up selling the company to a website called timeout.com, who they do a lot of restaurant reviews and bookings and stuff like that. Sorry, I've just got these pop-ups coming up. So we partnered with them to sort of take it to the next level. And then from that, yeah, that was the end of that sort of, that went for about 1.5 years or 2 years. It went well, but it was sort of, we were sort of finished with it. We'd done so much work on it, and Timeout could sort of take it to the place it had to be. So they integrated it with their website, and we moved on from that.
So I had this idea for a startup. We were gonna like dress up in superhero outfits and do people's laundry. What do you think of that idea?
Okay, I get that. Okay. All right, I'm sorry. I just bored you with that story. So basically, Yanni and I, my co-founder with SnapCard, him and I and a housemate were sitting around, and there was basically, we're trying to work out why laundry was just shit, basically. Doing laundry was shit, and getting someone to do laundry wasn't anything. So we thought it'd be cool to dress up as superheroes. So we were like dressed as superheroes, Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man, and they could all choose who would do their laundry. And it was just a gimmick at the time. We didn't really think anything of it. We thought it'd be a fun weekend project. But it turns out that they've got like people who do their laundry, they've got kids who want to see Batman come to the door every day. And so like next thing you know, we were like people running around houses with little kids chasing them, pretending to be Batman and stuff. So we weren't pretending, we were completely dressed up as Batman and Superman and everything. It was a really fun learning experience. Like walking down the street, people would laugh at you because you're like in a full Batman outfit at like 7 in the morning with like 3 bags of laundry hiked over your shoulder. But it was lots of fun. We did that for about 4 or 5 weeks actually, until I can't remember what the day is called. It's a public holiday in America. It's like it wasn't July 4th. It was like Memorial Day, I think. And no laundromats were open to do the laundry because we drop all the laundry off and they do it. So we ended up spending our entire public holiday for about 6.5 hours doing like 195 pounds of washing or something. And from there we were just like, all right, we're done. That's it. I'm not touching another dirty sock ever again. So we sort of hung it up. It went really well, but we discontinued it because we wanted to focus on Bitcoin related stuff. So. But if you ever need like a superhero, I can put you in touch with someone.
That was a story I read about, and I fell in love with that story. And I want to replicate it here in Milwaukee, from an administrative role, pretty much. I didn't know that was you, Michael. That's awesome. I didn't know that was you.
Yeah. It's funny actually. I got back to Sydney, and a friend of mine has quit his job, and funny enough, I was reading this article in the paper, and it said, the sandwich hero comes to Sydney, he's now fighting the hunger villain, and I found out it was my friend, and it turns out my friend's adopted the exact same thing, but for like sandwich deliveries at office complexes, so, you know, people that are really busy in the workspace. So now all these like superheroes like Batman and Spider-Man and shit, you see them like going in and out of these, you know, these commercial buildings and like into these offices and stuff. So it's cool. I thought it was a bit of fun, and it's cool that someone else thought it was cool. So thanks.
I mean, I've been a fan of SnapCard from day one because most of my friendship with James, but also because proxy services are what I think of as the bridge to mass adoption. Everybody decries Bitcoin for the inability or the reluctance to spend it because of the appreciation and the price or whatever. How do you guys go about marketing to tackle that question?
Hey, that's a really good question. And you know what's actually really funny? Looking at the metrics. So we obviously had last November, Bitcoin went on an absolute tear, and it went, went over 4 figures for the first time. But then it obviously declined when the bad news about China came out, saying they weren't all for Bitcoin, and it went down to, as low as 550, or may have even gone lower than that. But the spending patterns didn't really change that much. And so it's kind of interesting because we obviously assume that our software or like our platform is dependent on people spending a lot of capital gains with us. So if the price decreases, they're going to hold it until it goes back up. But that wasn't really the case. And then that got us thinking maybe all our users are really, really early adopters that bought Bitcoins for, 5 cents, $1, whatever. Because if I bought Bitcoins for $1, I don't care if they're worth $1,000 or $500. I'm still 500 times up on my money, kind of thing. So my reluctancy to spend them is not going to be that of someone that spent, $200 per Bitcoin. But funny enough, in our survey, so after we noticed that people were still spending regardless of what the price was doing, that's one question we put in there. We thought, okay, this is really interesting. We're going to send it out to the users. One of the questions was, when did you buy your Bitcoins? And we were expecting a lot of people to come back and say, oh, we bought them, late 2012, early 2013. But a lot of people bought them, when they were $250, $300. So I don't know. It's really interesting. I think it was just a really sort of positive thing that people are just enjoying being part of it at the moment and learning about it and reading about it and understanding it more. And that's what I think everyone, like, so you guys at your meetup, this is all part of it. We're all sort of trying to shape this community and bring it to life and give people the opportunity to learn more about it. So that's what we took away from it. We thought this is a really positive thing. People want to be part of it. They want to spend them. They want to buy them. And yeah, I'd say that's probably the biggest takeaway that we had from it was that sort of positive reinforcement. Because obviously, naturally, you'd think, okay, if they're $1,000, no one's going to spend them when they're $350. But it didn't really work that way. So that was quite surprising.
I know that I'm interested in this, and I think a lot of us are. Many new Bitcoin users are shy about the regulatory environment. How do you, as an entrepreneur, contend with that? The comparisons between Australia and the U.S., for example, from your business standpoint, but also, what challenges does that present, and what can the meetup networks, the people, the human network on top of Bitcoin, what can they do to ease the
regulatory pressures?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good question. I'd probably have to put a bit more thought to it, but I find we know we're really conscious of all the regulatory stuff because we really are trying to. So our roadmap ahead is obviously looks somewhat different to what our current product might be. It's going to evolve, obviously, but we really want to set a really firm footing in the Bitcoin community of trust and honesty and doing the right thing so that we can be around for a long time, not just be a pet project of my co-founders and I. We're really committed to this. We're in the middle of raising funds, so we are putting all the things in place that we can do to be as compliant as possible with the AML and the KYC laws that they've got. Obviously, know your client, anti-money laundering. Sorry, and And so we get times actually where we'll talk to people and we'll say, okay, so if people start spending really quickly and spending lots of money, we'll flag it and then we'll request identity from them. And they'll come back and say, screw you, I don't have to give you anything. I'm using Bitcoins or something. I'm like, well, like, come on, we're all trying to play ball in some way or another. Like, if we don't, you know, if we think something suspicious is going on and we don't recognize that, then if we let that slide for him, there's an off chance that something bad goes wrong, and then the service falls apart for everybody because we let that guy not verify his identity and all that stuff. So we're really conscious of that, and I think that's something that needs to be in the US anyway. Obviously, you've got to be aware of everything, and you've really got to be speaking to people about it, whether or not it's lawyers or people in the network. But you've got to make sure that you've got your eyes open and not oblivious to everything. In relation to the meetup groups, I think the best thing that happens, and this is what I've only been to one Bitcoin meetup, and that was in San Francisco. And I remember being blown away when I was there because there was like 30 or 40 people there, and I thought, wow, this is awesome. And then apparently they've had more and more and stuff. And I think if everyone, it's just like Bitcoin is like in my opinion, it's like a class project. When you're in year 5 or year 6 at school, you've got to do a class project. That's kind of like what we're doing right now. So everyone's got to chip in. Everyone's doing their little bit. So creating a presence in the community by you guys being here as a Bitcoin meetup. It looks like you're at a bar of some sort. I can't really see because I've got the crappiest monitor known to man. So and I don't have my glasses on. But it looks like you guys are in a bar, and if people keep doing this, it just raises awareness, and then that might lead to that bar accepting Bitcoin, and then the bar next door accepting Bitcoin, and next thing you know, this presence of the public getting out there is going to, oh, okay, so it is a bar, right? Okay, cool. This presence of the public sort of doing their thing, it only helps, and I think that's the best thing that everyone can do. Plus, it's very educational for new Bitcoin adopters. They can come to meetups, they can network with people that know a lot more about Bitcoin, and I remember that's one of the things that I found the coolest is I'd go there and you just hear these genius people talk that are either incredible with software or they're incredible with marketing, and they all just it was so insightful. So that's probably one of the biggest benefits of people like yourselves having meetups and all that. I think that's awesome. Good job with the meetups, guys.
Well, thanks for coming and joining us and bringing a little heat to the meetup culture here too.
It's not just any bar. It's the first and only bar in Milwaukee that takes Bitcoin. That will.
Oh, right on.
Will set it up.
Nice. Good job, Will.
Well, thank you. Michael, tell us. I know you have some things you want to unveil here soon that you probably can't share with us now, but what do you see coming for 2014? Not just for SnapCard, but for Bitcoin in general.
Yeah. One of the things I think Yanni's just found the link and now he's just sent it to me and he's just typing a bunch of things. Sorry, Yanni, the co-founder. One of the things I think is going to be huge. A lot of people don't think this or don't think it as much, but I think big money coming into it, people on Wall Street and things like that are really going to jump into Bitcoin in one way or another and start getting involved. And I think that is going to send the price. I don't know what's going to happen to the price, but I think obviously, with the things like the Winklevoss doing the ETF, and that would make progress. You've got people like Second Market allowing for a lot bigger volume of purchase. I think that's going to be really interesting. My opinion, I think a lot of more hedge funds are going to get on board after the performance of the hedge fund that ran last year. I can't remember the name of it. I think it was called Xanadu or something. But they had just astronomical returns. Obviously, I'm not saying that would happen again, but I'd say if I was in the hedge fund industry, you're obviously going to take a note of that, and we might see Bitcoin becoming a sort of an asset class in portfolio managers with hedge funds. So giving people exposure to Bitcoin, obviously, if they're a high risk, if they're a risk adverse client, then they wouldn't. But putting it out as an asset class, I think, could be a possibility for some hedge funds willing to sort of, jump on board. And that would obviously, the more money comes in, I think the higher the price goes in a way. But it's good that they're getting on board.
So earlier in our meetup, we were graced with a bunch of folks who were down in Miami for the Bitcoin conference. The core developer, the core team for Ethereum talked to us. So
were they all on the couch before? Was that the guys on the couch in the house?
That was, yeah, like half of the guys on the couch were part of the Ethereum project, and there were several. Jason King from Sean's Outpost was there, and the developers of the Hive wallet were there. Yeah. It was awesome. A full house of folks who were going to that conference. But tell us, in terms of the future of Bitcoin and what 2014 has to bring, what do you think about projects like Ethereum?
I haven't actually seen it yet. I'm so sorry. What is it? Sorry, is that the Ethereum?
So
I don't want to sound rude. I wasn't sure what it was yet. Sorry.
You've got your head down on SnapCard. No big deal. That's no big deal. It's just another layer protocol on top of Bitcoin that will enable smart contracts and things like that. And that's the sketchiest of sketch overviews.
Oh, okay. I think that sounds cool. I think colored coins are going to be really interesting once that starts taking place. I love the idea of that. That would be awesome. I think though, it's obviously Bitcoin needs to progress, but also you need to allow the general public to keep up with it as well, because like just right now, like trying to tell someone how to do cold storage, forget about it. Like I don't want to know it. Like if I'm not a Bitcoin or whatever, it's hard enough telling them that as opposed to telling them how to store their Bitcoins, how to buy their Bitcoins, what this is, what that is. So I like making sure that the general public can sort of keep up with it so that we can have this, mutual adoption and everyone moving forward. But I think things like that, like these innovations on top of the protocol are exceptional. Like I think we're only at version 0.8 or 0.9. We're not even at version 1 yet. But it's going to be awesome. Like I'm obviously a big believer in it, and you guys are as well. I think we don't even know the half of it yet. There's going to be some serious exciting stuff built on top of it, and yeah, it's going to be really cool.
So I kind of want to get personal for a second. Why IRS payments?
Oh, okay. So we started, Yanni, it was actually Yanni, I was talking to Yanni about it, and he was like, hey, how cool would this be? Because there was always that sort of resistance about, no one pays tax, and, Bitcoin's this thing where people don't pay tax on, and there was all these, like, sort of, this, like, negativity surrounding that. And we thought it would be cool just to throw it out there and like try and have a bit of positivity behind it, that people are trying to facilitate Bitcoiners to be able to do it. Whether or not they do it, that's none of our business. Well, it technically is our business, I think. But whether or not they do it, I suppose, is it's up to them. But yeah, sorry.
That got some applause in the house.
I didn't realize until after I said it. I was like, well, it is your business, so you should care. But it's up to themselves, obviously. But as long as we give the option, I suppose, hey, it's just another thing you can spend your Bitcoins on. Just in relation to, I think you mentioned earlier, Will, about stopgap solutions like we are, like SnapCard. Obviously, there's two sort of sides to this. So a lot of people will think stopgap solutions are really bad because that stops merchants accepting Bitcoin and all this. people use SnapCard instead of Newegg actually implementing Bitcoin. But there actually is a lot of value in it, because what it does, it allows these companies, these bigger companies that don't want to put developers on, integrating new payment methods or anything like that. It gives them a chance to actually sort of understand how much demand there is. So it's kind of like validating whether or not it's worth it. So yes, it's not the actual company natively integrating with Bitcoin, but it is a good chance for the company to, it's like a selling point for the company. So if you can go to a company and say, hey, I think you should accept Bitcoin, they'll be like, okay, cool, thanks. But if you go, hey, I've got 10,000 users that spend $85,000 a week on your site using Bitcoin, you guys should integrate it. It makes the conversation a lot different. So I think there is benefits in stopgap solutions. Sorry, I know that was unrelated to what we were talking about, but I remember you asking it before, and I forgot to answer that part.
No, I think that's on point. That was kind of where the question was coming from. You're an Australian entrepreneur with a global scope for your business, and you go to America to tell them that, hey, you can pay your taxes in Bitcoin, so stop complaining that you can't spend your Bitcoins.
If the option's there and people want to do it, cool. If they don't want to do it, no one has to do anything, right? I suppose. So if they want to do it, the option's on the table. If they don't want to do it, they don't have to do it. Yeah, that's it.
One more follow-up to that. What was the implementation of that feature like? What was involved in putting that together and enabling that for your customers?
Yeah. Well, we were looking at a lot of because it's still early days. That's just basically a lot of it's been done manually to sort of test and see, is this something that a lot of people want? So we know we did a survey and a lot of people requested it, and now we put it out there in its simplest form. And back to sort of what you were saying with being a young company and sort of being quite agile, we can afford to do that on implement it in a couple of days. And then we can sort of understand how in demand it is, and then push out a more perfected product to the users. So, we implemented we spent a week doing it, and then we rolled it out, and we were fortunate enough to get some good exposure in the press, and a lot of users were really happy about it as well. So that was cool. It was cool to see. We were glad they liked it. So.
Well, talking with James and having the few conversations I've had with you, I know I'm excited about SnapCard. We have a few members here who have used SnapCard already for Christmas gifts.
Really?
That. Absolutely.
Oh, awesome.
We have a member who's not here tonight who bought a food processor from Amazon using SnapCard.
Oh, cool. Yeah, right. Awesome. Thanks for using it.
I'm not going to share what I bought using SnapCard.
Oh, that was you, was it?
Tell us, Michael, where can our members in the viewing public find you on social media and on the web, and what else can we do, not just as customers, but the meetup culture, the human network in Bitcoin? What can we do to support businesses like SnapCard specifically?
Yeah. Okay. So we operate SnapCard. It's joinsnapcard.com. Twitter.com/joinsnapcard as well. We're pretty active in quick response times. We've got a chat box that we literally leave open almost 24 hours a day on our site. As you guys just being supportive, I think. Just keep the meetups going, and just maybe try and, every time you're going to a new meetup, try and invite a new friend with you, and just tell them to come for beers with you. You're going to meet some buddies, and just bring them along, and just get them excited about Bitcoin. Obviously, I think it's an exciting time. We're really lucky to be part of it right now. We're really in on the ground floor. So sharing that excitement and trying to help educate people about it, both the benefits and the disadvantages, I think is awesome. And I suppose you guys are doing a great job. You're all sitting there. I'm talking to you guys are laughing at my terrible jokes, and it's like, this is good, it's all happening. People are talking about Bitcoin, so I think that's awesome.
Cool. Well, Michael, thank you so much for joining us. We'd love to have you back soon. Maybe you could announce some of your new features and innovations that SnapCard's going to be rolling out soon here at one of our meetups that we'll broadcast to the world. So,
cool.
I'm sure there are more preferable outlets to send out such an announcement, but the invitation is there.
I appreciate it, guys. And I just want to say thanks so much for having me.
Pleasure talking to you, Michael. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Will. See you later.
Yeah, we'll catch up soon. Thanks. Thanks for watching, everybody.